What's good, guys? It's CSG. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Balthazar's updated review score of Illuvium. So this is the video right here, guys. I know they reviewed something quite a while back with a pretty low score, if I'm not mistaken. They've kind of gone back now to review it and give an updated score. So I'm keen to see what they say. I'm just going to give my thoughts on it as it goes on.
Illuvium has been the talk of town in the NFT gaming world. This Web3 gaming giant has amassed hundreds of thousands of community members, both in their Discord and on their Twitter. Illuvium has been leading the charge in the NFT gaming industry for over a year now, but will they receive a high score from Balthazar's alpha team that everyone thinks they deserve? Well, let's explore the research review together and find out.
Yo, first off, I want to say the production of this is already dope. It's just a quick heads up.
You start the game as a passenger of a transport vessel heading for a distress beacon. When arriving at the destination, you discover a ruined planet that could be a long-lost cradle of a racist civilization. The entire world is covered in a crystal ocean except for a small section of land towering over the sea. The extreme weather on the planet disables the ship's engines, stranding the ship on the surface. Crawling out from the wreckage, you discover strange creatures, some with extreme powers. Fortunately for you, your race has just begun mastering the same energy these creatures possess, and you therefore are able to capture and control the creatures called alluvials into crystals called shards.
I remember the first time I saw that original trailer. It's crazy. Like back then it was dope. The thing that stood out back then was the audio, like especially when Ramp goes up and comes down. It's crazy to look at that trailer and then see the newest trailer. Like it's just crazy. And both of the main shots were actually done in the game. So you can actually see how much it's improved over time.
Shards are mined from the planet's surface, and to uncover the planet's mysteries, you become a hunter, subduing and capturing alluvials across the land. Obelisks may block your path, but over time you'll unlock those as well, opening up more of the world to explore. Following your emergence from the crash ship, you stumble upon an almanac titled Illuviary. Seemingly one of your kind has been here before, and in the book you find an index of every alluvial across the planet Illuvium. However, all these entries are locked. To unlock the entries in the bestiary, you must find and capture the corresponding alluvial and record its digital signature. Identifying and uncovering the alluvial's biology might just be what you need to uncover the mystery of Illuvium. Images in the research report picked from Illuvium's Medium page will show you some of the regions and what they look like on the planet. I think one of the reasons why everyone's so hyped on Illuvium is because when you see stuff like this, it looks so beautiful and incredible for a video game. There's no caveat of, oh, it looks good for an NFT game. No, it just looks good as a game itself. The lore is enough to get us started here, and I hope they really flesh it out as, especially we unlock some of those obelisks in new area of Illuvium. Hopefully that really brings out more of the story behind it.
Yo, I do need to say real quick about the story. Like it's insane. I agree. I think the no caveat of it being like an NFT game, it's just a dope game, man. Look at the footage and it's just crazy. In regards to the actual like story, trust. People are not ready. Like it's deep, it's way deeper than even I thought. And it took me a while to realize that once I got internal, I could actually see the story. And I was fighting with myself, like, yo, should I see it? Should I experience it for the first time? But I realized I probably should know what's going on. In case anyone actually does ask me internally, I'll actually know what's happening. But yeah, I can't wait for everyone to realize how deep the story actually goes.
To begin with, Illuvium will host an overworld RPG where players can roam the lands and capture alluvials to use them in the Battle Arena game mode. The Battle Arena is a 3D auto battler similar to Dota Auto Chess or League of Legends Teamfight Tactics. Alongside these, a mobile game is connected to the Illuvium protocol called Illuvium 0.
I do hate the fact that they use that old ass footage of Illuvium 0. Like it's bad footage. It's bad footage.
Players will traverse the 7 regions of the continent above the water on this planet. Upon spotting an alluvial in the overworld, you can choose to encounter it at the cost of energy. Capturing alluvials requires a shard which would have to be brought, but having a shard with you is still not a guaranteed capture. While trying to capture one, the quality of the shard and your luck will determine a successful catch to add another NFT to your collection. When you enter the overworld game for the first time, you start by customizing your character before selecting your polymorphic subordinate drone, your mechanical assistant. The drone or PSD is instrumental in mining and harvesting. For some players, eventually might be the whole point, and the overworld will provide the explorers with ample opportunities to capture alluvials. It can be very lucrative if you manage to capture a powerful and rare alluvial. Over time, alluvials will be harder to capture as the captured population increases. I really love that they're already thinking about NFT rarity and how to maintain value to their NFTs as you catch them. Making them more rare over time is awesome because then that gives value to those who were there early, but also if you're a newer player and you do happen to manage and stumble upon one of those super rare ones, that is going to make an amazing moment for that player.
Yeah, agreed. I completely agree there. Like I think it's dope that they've actually thought this out, and it's not like a inflationary kind of situation the same way that Axie was, where you could just keep breeding and breeding and breeding. I like the way that it's super deflationary, that to fuse things, you need to burn the NFTs. It's just less and less. Everything they do, if you want skins, you're going to have to burn them. It's just every single thing we do is just burning and burning and just like limiting the actual amount. So when you first start, you're not going to feel it too much, but over like, again, a 4-year, 5-year period, and the fact that we're going to have different sets, like, so the set 1 is going to be endangered and extinct. I know they've talked about set 2 or set 3 potentially being mythical creatures like centaurs and phoenixes, things like that. It's not just one thing that's just going on forever. You're going to have a select limited amount for a set and then moving on to the next one. The thought that they've put into this to actually make this sustainable is just, this is a real thing. Like they're really building out an IP that's going to last a long time.
In the auto chess battle arena, there will be various flavors such as the ranked arena, which is the competitive ladder system, great for PvP and esports. In the ranked arena, there won't be an RNG aspect where you get random alluvials to play with or an outstretched hand when you're behind. Ranked arena is PvP where you have to bring your own NFTs and be rewarded for your merits. There's also another battle arena called the Leviathan arena. This is a wagering game where you can bet on the fight's outcome.
With the Leviathan arena, the whole wagering thing is in question right now. We're unsure if we're doing that or not based on regulation. So that slight thing was incorrect,
Which focuses on casual gameplay and playing versus the computer. The goal here is to last as long as possible in endless fights, seeing how far you can get. There will also be a PvP challenge in this arena, which revolves around who can last the longest. Here you can see our alpha team at Balthazar got the chance to try out the arena beta. We were impressed by the audio and visuals, especially the camera movements, and the deep strategy mechanics of their auto battler. If they can implement the PvP mode in a successful way and also provide enough competitive incentives to rank up and keep playing, we can see Illuvium being a leading game in the auto battler genre in the years to come.
like what auto battlers are they, man? It's just teamfight tactics. Like graphically, we're already way better graphically. The fact that we can move the camera and do things is something that teamfight tactics can't do. The gameplay mechanics themselves are actually super deep, and in my opinion, deeper than teamfight tactics. So when three things already were better than teamfight tactics, the one thing that I think is crucial is PvP. If we're able to actually make PvP better, and honestly not even better, if we're even to match it at the level that TFT does it, I think we're going to do incredibly well.
If you want to know more of our thoughts about the Illuvium gameplay beta, subscribe to our channel as our gameplay video will be coming out soon. Lastly, there will be Illuvium 0, which will be the hyper casual game mode for mobile. You can compare it to traditional mobile games like Go and similar resource gathering games. The resources gained in Illuvium 0 can be used in the other two game modes as well. It's awesome that this game has multiple game modes that can appeal to different players. The question is, can they really bring them all together and make them cohesive? If they can, I can imagine my wife who really likes Pokemon playing in the overworld, capturing alluvials, and then me taking them into battle because I'm more of the competitive player. Then we can bring on one of our friends who's more of the casual mobile gamer, and we can all share resources together.
Yeah, so right there, he's pretty much just talking about the IBG, right? The fact that we're building an interoperable blockchain game where, again, there's multiple genres. You go into the overworld, you can access the arena straight from the overworld. You're in the overworld, you can access Illuvium 0 straight from that, right? It's like, well, we're in the overworld, maybe there's a dungeon crawler game that we can access straight from there. Honestly, it's the same thing like Mario. Mario's got a racing game, a sports game, a platformer game, even Mario and Rabbit, like they've got a shooter game. So having all of these genres to actually make sure that your entire market is covered and has something that they like is actually such a obvious marketing strategy. I feel like Illuvium is setting themselves up nicely where they are able to kind of take over everything.
In Illuvium, there will be in-game purchases all transacted in ETH. You can purchase various products and benefits in the game, such as shard curing, MBUs, wagering on battles, alluvial revivals, obelisk travel, and enhancements. In-game purchases are something most modern games enable in the marketplace, and although it often grants players a convenience boost, the items such as enhancements that offer powerful attribute boosts are looking very pay to win to us. Focusing on skillful strategy in the ranked arena, we're curious to see how items like enhancements play into the game.
In regards to the actual pay to win situation, I actually just recently made a video about that. It's interesting because Illuvium is both pay to win and not. So with the Ascendant arena, which is the ranked arena, that's all going to be balanced. So that's technically not pay to win. But then you have the Leviathan where stats matter and all of that really does matter. You could just pay for the best thing. That is a little bit more pay to win. In both situations, you're going to need strategy. But that's one thing that I do like about Illuvium. A lot of the costs involved are just going to be cosmetics and flexing, the same way that Dota does it, the same way that League of Legends does it. It's not a, I need to pay to actually be the best. It's, I want to pay to look cooler in this space that I'm already spending a lot of my time in.
When we asked Kieran Warwick about it in our interview, here's what he had to say.
And yes, you need to either collect them or purchase them. But when you go into this ranked arena, every stat is equalized. Because it is crypto, there is another arena, which is the Leviathan arena. And that's where if you do want to go and go up against other whales out there who have millions of dollars and want to buy these assets, that's when, the stats do count. You might have two of the exact same team compositions that are up against each other, but one stats are way higher than the other. And the chance of you beating that person is very, very low, but you can choose in our game.
Lastly, players will unlock new zones for others to explore and new alluvials to discover. Occasionally, a new region will be released after an obelisk is unlocked. If you're the one who finds the key to the obelisk, it could be a very profitable discovery. After researching Illuvium, the alpha team decided to give the background a 9 out of 10.
So for the background, a 9 out of 10, I honestly, I can't fault that. I can't fault that at all. I think that's a pretty reasonable.
Now let's check out the NFT game assets and their artwork. At the game's launch, there will be more than 200 alluvials to discover and capture. Each one of them has unique abilities which play into the variety and strategy when used in battle.
I need to just point that out. 200, like that's just absurd. Like, and you look at this, like right here, the duelist, like the quality of these, that's 200 of these super high quality creatures.
There are 5 primary affinities on Illuvium: water, fire, earth, air, and nature. Alluvials of the highest form can form affinities with 2 elements from the 5 base elements. Affinities will provide strengths and weaknesses to the alluvials, much like in Pokemon. Alluvials can be put into one of 5 classes. These are fighters, guardians, rogues, scions, and empaths. When using alluvials for battle, it pays off setting them up in teams with affinities and classes that synergize. Alluvials form symbiotic relationships with each other based on their affinities. If you end up with 3 of the same type of alluvial and they've reached a certain level, you can fuse them into a more powerful beast. It is, in Pokemon terms, evolution. It's good that they have so many different options when building out a team, including the Illuvium itself, the classes, and the affinity. How I think that sets it apart from other auto battlers such as TFT or Dota Auto Chess is that a lot of the theory crafting is going to be done ahead of time rather than making quick decisions in game. I can really see people spending hours and hours theory crafting of what's going to be the best team, trading them around, looking for a certain Illuvium to catch that's going to slot right into the synergy that they're looking for, and there's probably going to be hours and hours of YouTube strategy guides as well being made.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, right? Because in things like Teamfight Tactics or Dota Underlords, it's very RNG. It's, what do you get, like what happens, and then you kind of make quick decisions, which is that there's fun in that, absolutely. But with Illuvium, it's very much like a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh, where you build your deck, you know what the strategy is going in. You're like, yo, you fell into my trap card, like all of that shit. So I think that's going to offer a different kind of gameplay for players. And personally, I prefer the kind of predetermined deck that you have, because again, like what he just mentioned, there's going to be so many YouTube videos of strategizing what's the best thing, what's not. And the cool thing is the fact that there's so many options. Like you said, with all of the affinities, all of the classes, mixing and matching them, the compositions, like it's just there's so much depth to it that I don't think there's going to be an obvious top tier kind of thing, because no matter what, there's going to be a counterplay to it. And if there's a counterplay, there's a counterplay to that. And it's very much like adaptive. It's just, there's a lot of depth to it. And I can't wait to see it actually play out and the meta develop over time.
As the game progresses and the first generation of Illuvials are captured, the team has plans to introduce new generations of Illuvials down the line. The sets will be voted on by the Illuvium DAO and will be released steadily as the rarity of previous generations increases. As mentioned earlier, you will need shards to capture the Illuvials, and it's no guarantee that they will capture, so you need a bunch of them, and also have some higher rarity ones will give you a better chance at capturing higher rarity Illuvials. Unlike in Pokemon, however, in Illuvium, as a player, you can participate in the fight, equipping fancy, futuristic weapons and armor that will make you also ready for combat. Lastly, in the NFT gaming assets, there are the land plots. These land plots are NFTs yielding tokens and other NFTs as resources for use in other aspects of Illuvium. It is tied to the mobile and desktop companion game Illuvium 0 and generates income for the owner or rentee managing the land. After analyzing the NFT assets, Balthazar awarded them a 9 out of 10, and the artwork of Illuvium as a whole a 9.5 out of 10.
I mean, damn, yo, like this is a much better review score than what they I forget what they gave it previously, man. It might have been like a 6 or a 7, or like in regards to the NFTs, again, the use of NFTs I think just makes sense with a 9. The artwork 9.5. And the crazy thing is we haven't actually seen the completed artwork for the NFTs. Like we've seen some of it leaked, but we haven't seen them all. And I think once we see that, it's going to be insane. We're so used to monkey JPEGs or just these still images. To see an actual moving NFT, a 3D 4K NFT, like it's just wild. Like we're moving things to the next level. It's not the same as it used to be. We're really stepping it up.
Now let's jump into the white paper, including things like the blockchain, tokenomics, and roadmap. Illuvium has a primary token called ILV, but since the game is built on top of Ethereum, you can also use ETH for several purchases in-game. The game also has a synthetic token pegged to ILV's value, which works as a gift card in-game. You can look through the rest of our report to learn more about the distribution and things like staking, but one thing I thought was interesting is how they're using it as their governance token. IV holders will govern and maintain the protocol through the Illuminati Council. Wait, let me try that again. Maintain the protocol through the Illuminati Council. The council members will then be elected by LV holders through nomination, then voting. The nominee will then have votes of those who voted for them.
It actually gives the holders a voice in Illuvium and which way they want to dictate the direction. Like again, when we talk about a new genre, it's going to be up to the council that are voted in by the community to decide what that next genre is going to be. And it's very much a democratic way of doing things, which is very, very different to what we're used to in the gaming industry.
In order to reduce plutocracy, voting is quadratic. This means that the more ILV you vote with, the less they weigh. This is very intriguing to me, especially after Splinterlands released their earlier version of their governance, because people really just took it as, well, all these people with the most amount of tokens, these giant whales, are the ones that are going to be able to control the vote, and so what's the point of voting? This quadratic system is interesting that hopefully it gives a balance to power, but I also wonder, does that mean that whales won't want to buy as much of the token? Or will there be loopholes, as I always worry about people trying to scheme the system? Will people split up their tokens across multiple accounts so hopefully that they way more? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's actually very interesting. So that's something that we've been talking about, and there is a flaw in the system. There absolutely is, but it's something that we do have an eDAO where we're able to kind of like cover it if it does happen, where we see, yo, there's a whole bunch of small wallets that are voting for one thing, and it looks suspicious. We'll make that call. There's no perfect system, where we're kind of making the best with what we have, and we're obviously gonna adjust that as time goes on and then make that even better than what it is now.
Hopefully the team, though, can find that right balance of power. Now, looking at the roadmap, you can tell the team is behind on some of the things in the technology session, but judging by what the team has already accomplished in a highly detailed roadmap, we seem to find little to no issues thus far. As many projects state, creating a game is far from a linear process and is naturally subject to change. This is stated very clearly in Illuvium's roadmap.
Yeah, honestly, this white paper and this roadmap hasn't been updated in a long time. We're kind of using all of our resources on actually building it. than updating it. It is what it is. I know a lot of people disagree with it. They think we should update it.
As for Illuvium's white paper, it doesn't seem like it has been updated in quite a while. There's a lot of focus on the DeFi side of things and how this will be good investment. So we don't feel like this white paper is targeted at the typical Web 2 or Web 3 gamer, but more at the curious gaming crypto enthusiast. Since Illuvium's inception in 2020, we've seen the narrative change in the grander ecosystem from a play to earn to a big focus on good games with crypto and NFT features. Recently, Illuvium took all their Medium articles and put them on the news tab of their website, consolidating some of their information. It would just be great to see this updated in the white paper as well. Now, while everyone might not really...
It's more important that we actually get the product out than the advertisement for the product without the product even out. I mean, it makes sense to get the product out and then change the white paper of saying, yo, this is what we're building, this is what we're built for the long term. But until we've actually got the product out, let's focus on that, because that is going to be the most important thing for survival.
Really care about the white paper. I think it is a really big deal because it shows not only the team has a plan ahead, but also how they are presenting themselves. With all this in mind, the white paper scored a 7 out of 10.
I mean, that's honestly a much higher score than I would have given it, considering that it's not even updated. But I mean, yeah, props.
Now on to the team. The team working on Illuvium consists of over 150 members. These members were easy to find on Illuvium's website, with most of them having some sort of link to their social media or to their LinkedIn profiles, making it easier to find information on their team members. The team members working on Illuvium have relevant experience in their respective fields. As seen from the team member listing above and from looking through the different mediums listed on the individual members and their previous experience, many of them seem to have some, if not a lot, of previous work they can show for.
The team is incredible, man. Like, this is the first time I've come into a job where I'm like, yo, I'm not the greatest. Like, these guys are actual killers. Like, these guys are actually monsters in what they do. And it's so refreshing to work in a place where I'm looking up to everyone and be like, yo, let me learn from you guys. Like, I can't say enough good things about everyone that works. It's a blessing, and absolutely the team is just the highest of tiers.
Including notables such as Nate Wells, the game producer on Illuvium, who has worked with huge titles such as BioShock Infinite, and has been the lead game producer on games such as Rise of the Tomb Raider and The Last of Us. Alexander Kirilenko, the lead animator on Illuvium, has done freelance 3D modeling jobs for giants such as Pepsi, Sony, and Toyota. There's no doubt that the team behind Illuvium has a lot of talented team members with a plethora of diverse talents and experiences. I think it's really key that Illuvium has such a large team. They're hiring more and they have great past experience. One of the things I worry about for Illuvium is that they got so much going on between the different game modes and NFTs, which are all incredibly exciting, but seem like they would need a big team behind it to get it done, which it seems like they have, so that gives me confidence going forward. All the confidence that Balthazar has in the Illuvium team has awarded them a 9.5 out of 10.
I mean, yeah, damn. If it was up to me, I'd give the team a 10. Straight up, I'd give the team a 10.
Now for the final score reveal of Illuvium. If you read through the whole research report, you'll see the website scored an 8 out of 10 and their socialnomics a 9.5 out of 10. Illuvium's socialnomics score is the highest of any Web3 game rated at Balthazar so far, meaning that Illuvium is the king of social media and community as far as Web3 games go. They have managed to continue to grow their followers during a time when most other Web3 games have lost followers.
In this bear market where interest has gone down, our showcase leaks are still getting thousands of views. Like, we're still getting a whole bunch of people, even my videos, other content creators' videos. We saw Bryson Stream have, what, 12,000 live viewers, 100,000 viewers in total. Like, interest for Illuvium is still very much there. So
as for the Alpha team's final thoughts, there is no doubt Illuvium has captured tremendous interest in the Web3 space. Whether Illuvium will be the game that bridges Web2 gamers over to the world of GameFi is quite uncertain on our end. Whether Illuvium can find success as an esport is something we consider detrimental to the general longevity and success of the project, and we would love to see more details and plans in this regard.
I think the PvP is going to be so essential, and that's going to be the kind of make or break in my mind for this first arena game. It doesn't mean that they can't do things in the future and build out the IP still, but I think for this first kind of foray into the games and into arena, I think the PvP is going to be the most important thing.
Illuvium shows touches of brilliance in several aspects. We are overall positive towards the project and especially towards the team. We also want to highlight the incredible and intriguing lore, which is welcome in the space where games often don't prioritize it. To conclude, Illuvium is perhaps one of the most promising projects in the GameFi space. This is reflected in our overall score of 9, which indicates projects we're certain will deliver high quality content to Web3 gaming.
The overall score of 9, I think that's pretty accurate, to be honest. Like, it's not perfect, it's not a 10, obviously 9.5. I wouldn't even say 8. Yeah, I think they got a bang on. I think 9 makes perfect sense. So a massive shout out to Balthazar for like the super in-depth breakdown of Illuvium. Everything that they kind of said, they hit on a lot of important points. I think they scored it pretty fairly. It was incredibly well done. So I want to say a massive thank you to you guys. And let me know in the comments down below, do you guys agree with the scoring? What would you score it? What are your thoughts on it? But anyway, I appreciate you for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.